All good, and my voice is audible. So, dear student, very good morning to all of you. Hope you all are doing well. Today we are going to see about 16th July, the Hindu newspaper analysis. So here I'm going to explain about the each and every article and what are the application. This is what most important. Most of the students they don't understand what is the application of each and every article for our examination, because the Hindu is designed for something else. The audience is not UPSC student, but we are using because we don't have any other alternative. So I am going to tell you how you are going to use this information in different subject of your paper, be that prelims, mains, so different subjects. So before that, how you can get this PDF? You can simply scan our application. There you'll find premium infographics edition, so that you can join. So we are it is very nominal fees, that is 300 rupees per year, but now it is offer under the offer. If you are joining before the 1st of August, so you'll get 50% off. That means 250 rupees per year, so which is very less than 1 year 1 month newspaper of the Hindu. So you'll get highlighted version. So instead of spending 3 hours in the newspaper reading, you can complete everything in just 45 minutes. So the amount of time you'll save, that can be devoted for other subjects, so that will give you very much return. And those who are using our iOS device, so you can download the Class Plus application and use or the code PKRMEJ to get all these things. Okay, and you can join our Telegram. There you will get the current affair MCQ. Okay, and one more thing, after completion of the newspaper, I will provide you the current affair or some MCQ related to the current newspaper. I'll also provide two mains questions, so please try to practice them. Okay, so that will helpful to revise whatever you have learned, and that is what helpful for your prelims and mains also. So execution put off reprise for Indian Nords in Yemen. So we know that one of our Indian women, so currently on the death row in the Yemen. So the execution of Indian Nords Nimisha Priya, Yemen, has been postponed from Wednesday. Official source said that. So Priya, who are held from the Kerala, has been death row since 2018, following her conviction in 2017 for murder of her former business partner. So this is a victory for our diplomatic source, and after we are negotiating and reaching out to authorities, so we have achieved that. So next is a service export cut India's trade deficit by 9.4%. So recently we are seeing there is a boost in our service export. So because of that, our trade deficit is reduced significantly. So 11% growth in the service export helps overall trade deficit contract to 20.3 billion. Current export growth on track, and it can beat the previous year export target of previous year 825 billion. So here it is given. So India total export stood at all-time high of 825. So you need to note them down. So whenever you are talking about export, you can talk about we have 825 billion as export. Okay, in financial year 2024-25 financial, you can write FY. So this is what most important information for us. Nothing more than important. You have to note down. So dear student, you can join our infographics edition. You can see the feedback from our student. They are giving very good feedback because we are guiding very high quality guidance. So yet very nominal price. So you can scan this QR code to join, or you can reach out to me for that. The next is Odisha student dies after 2 days after setting herself ablaze over the harassment by the teacher. So what happened in that case? I'm just explaining you. So recently, a student from Odisha, died after setting fire herself, because there is a complaint of harassment by the HOD of that Fakir Mohon University. But after repeated complaints, so the school authority are not taking appropriate steps. So when that particular a girl not found any other option but to sacrifice their life. So despite all possible support management, she could not revive. Say the AIMS Bhubaneswar CM Maji promised stringent action against all those who are guilty. Say government stand with the family with the family. Okay. So next is happy homecoming for the Shukla, three other astronauts after 18 days in this space. So Axiom mission. So Indian astronaut Subhanshu Shukla and his fellow crew member on Axiom 4 returned to the Earth on Thursday, and their SpaceX Dragon capsule splashing down on the USA coast, on the western coast of the USA. So they returned from an 18 days sojourn to International Space Station. That is the first day for Indian own ambition for human space flight with Group Captain Subhanshu Shukla, the Air Force it's a Air Force captain selected as one of the astronauts for the Gaganyaan mission. So here you have to study about detail about International Space Station. So you need to study about detail about your International Space Station. Let me tell you once again. So I'm going to give you targets 10 to 15 daily. During discussion, I'm going to give you 10 to 15 targets daily. So it is your task. After completion of that, you have to spend 15 not 30 minutes to 1 hour to collect all this information. Study well on the all these chapters. So it is my promise, if you spend that much of time, you'll get around 20 to 30 marks extra in prelims. So I have I have followed this strategy and I have repeatedly cleared 5 prelims with 20 marks extra than cutoff, because I used to do all this backward linkages. Then it is my promise, you will get extra 80 plus marks in your core GS and essay if you do this backward and forward analysis. ठीक है, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. So next is days of rehabilitation. After someone, if someone is coming from the microgravity environment, so that person need to be go through the rehabilitation, so that in microgravity condition you start floating. So once you come back to the earth, now you are not going to float, so you have to adapt to that changes. So that is the reason. So we need to go through the rehabilitation. Okay. And dear student, those who are planning to give examination in 2026, so you can start writing our mains answer writing program. Here you will get high quality evaluation at very nominal price. All our evaluator are either UPSC interview given or selected candidates. So you'll get very high quality, evaluation at very nominal price. You can check our application, and in our telegram also there are sample evaluation already given. So those who are writing mains, you can join our application also. The it's completely flexible. You can choose question of your choice. You can write the number of question as you want and get high quality evaluation by UPSC selected candidates. We are not taking random candidates. Those who have expertise, they are going to evaluate your copy. So next important article. So first, dance of darkness. So this article is talking about detail about the black hole. So you need to understand what is black hole. So black holes merger happen when two black holes extremely dense object with gravity so strong that not even light can escape. देखो, black hole is such a massive object that it create a ripple in the space. If that is, let's say this is a seat, if you place a black hole here, it will create a ripple like that. So if you pass light here, also light is not going to escape from here. That means that is the reason it is called black hole. Anything come in a black hole, will there is no point of escape. So light can escape. So get closer and start orbiting each other. Over the time, they lose their energy by sending out visible ripples in space-time called gravitational wave. When two black holes, they start rotating around one another, so that is going to create a ripple. So ripple around them, and over a period of time they will merge and create a vast ripple wave. That ripple wave we can study outside to observe the gravitational wave. Okay. So the moment release a huge burst of gravitational wave which can be detected by on the earth by using special observatory like LIGO. So what is the full form of LIGO? Laser Interferometer Gravitational Observatory. So laser interferometer gravitational observatory. It is in USA. So next is Virgo, another observatory in Italy. So Kagra, another in Japan. So India is also building one gravitational observatory. So it is called India LIGO. So please find the location and detail about it. Tell me in the comment box what is the location of this, this LIGO project. So think of the phenomena like two figure skates spinning. So catching these events allows scientists to know what is the importance of understanding these black holes. So by catching these events allows scientists to learn new thing about the black holes and the universe. By understanding this gravitational wave, we understand how black holes evolve, what are the energy behind them, how they merge, what are the significance, what are the consequences. We will learn all these things. The international collaboration of scientists reported discovery of specially massive black hole merger. So, namely, you can see about the name. So, that is being observed by the LIGO, Virgo, and Kagra. So, gravitational wave from the merger of the November 2023. The size of these black holes are 137 times the size of the sun. Another one is 103 times the sun. The mass of the sun crushed together. So because of that, that create a lot of gravitational wave. Let's say this is the it is a black hole having size 137 times that of the sun. Another is, let's say, having 102. If they are rotating around them, so that is what going to create a ripple in the space time. Just imagine two ball, you are rotating two ball in the water, so that will create a ripple, and this ripple will spread all over all direction. And if, let's say, if we are using LIGO, laser interferometer gravitational observability, so we can see there is a variation in the space time that can be measured to understand all these black holes. Okay, so here you can see the a black soldier flies seen on the net in the form of outskirt of Havana, Cuba. So doctor, they said that she makes more money in these days by raising these flies whose larva can be used as a fish feed when he ever did practicing medicine. That means, so we can grow all these flies and we can let them egg, and that egg can eat by this fish. Okay, so that it's a low cost growth. Okay, so next important is searching for extraterrestrial life means asking the right question first. So human are always fascinating about outer space and existence of the extraterrestrial life. So has the quest for alien life failed? The researcher at the Institute of Particle Physics and Astrophysics, Zurich, recently offered more nuanced answer to this question. So since 1990, scientists have discovered hordes of planets outside of the solar system, together with tantalizing hints of life, or more accurately, hints of life. So far, however, there is no proof that there is life anywhere in the universe except Earth. So, what happening after 1990? We have discovered so many planets. We have found that there is temperature is suitable, so there might possible of habitation of some sort of lives. So, but no conclusive evidence we have yet found where life is existing. Okay? So what is the significance? Recently, we are going to launch two additional mission additions to the technological sophistication in upcoming project like laser interferometer for exoplanet. So this is what called life. So if they ask about what is life, so you need to know that what is the objective of life. The next is habitable world observatory. So they all try to find the habitable planets that is located in beyond our solar system and measure whether there is exist any life or not. Okay. So life and HWO project plan to study exoplanet for sign of water, oxygen, and other molecules that may indicate presence of life. So you need to remember that. So in UPSC also in past they have asked such questions, so it can ask a very good question. In final analysis, so newspaper in final analysis, new paper said that absence of evidence is not evidence of absence as long as we allow right question to lead us. So same thing with your examination. You can write this as a conclusion. Sometime we don't find the evidence, so that is what called absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. So we are not able to find the evidence. That doesn't mean we can conclude there is no life. So in later on we can found some evidence also. Okay, so next is good progress on good progress on European Union free trade talks, less on Asian Pact review. So recently India is talking with multiple country regarding free trade agreement. So Commerce Ministry official confirmed team from India in Washington and to negotiate US deal, and third such visit in last few months. Next few months going to be a flurry of activity because we are negotiating free trade agreement with the USA, European Union, and we are revisiting our free trade agreement with ASEAN, because the after signing the free trade, that is free FTA with ASEAN, no, we do no doubt our export is increasing 2x time, but our import are increasing 3x to 4x time in this country. That means there is a abuse of the free trade agreement. How they are abusing? This is, let's say, this is ASEAN. They simply import cheap product from the China and misuse this free trade agreement to dump their product in India. So that is what hurting our economy also. So they're violating rule of origin principle to hurting our Indian sentiments, economic sentiments. So India was seen good progress in negotiating with European Union. So our negotiation with European Union is going well, very well. So we can expect a trade deal. But on the other hand, the negotiation to Southeast Asia, they are not going well, because there is tough negotiation we are facing. They are not ready to give this all these things. So okay. So Pakistan vowed to defend ties with China as G and Dharmit. So the more strengthening relationship between Pakistan and China, so which is very concern for us, because recently Pakistan is also resetting its tie with the USA also. So India might face both challenges. Okay. So next important article is, so Brazil, China, India could hit hard by the curve. So NATO chief. So recently there is a proposal that there is a proposal, or you can say restriction on, or you can say threat by this NATO country. So stop trading with Russia. Otherwise, you'll face high amount of sanctions. So if you look into the oil trade, so it is the Brazil, China, and India who are largely depends on the Russia for their oil. So that is the reason they are threatening to cut the buying the cheap crude oil from the Russia. Otherwise, you'll have to face high sanction. Even Donald Trump said that I'll impose 500% tariff on those who are buying Russian oil. So next is G pledged China support in meeting with the Russia's foreign minister. So Chinese President Xi Jinping told the Russian top diplomat that the country could strengthen mutual support, and state media said that. In recently, we know that the Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting is going on in Beijing, and it is being hosted by the China. So Beijing has long present in the South, the SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, as a counterweight to the Western-led blocs such as NATO, and push for greater collaboration between the 10 members. So Beijing or China want SEO should be act as a counterweight to the Western dominance, or we can say NATO. But if you look into the Indian position, we are not in favor of Western countering the Western front. But both this China as well as Russia, they want to establish a front that is counter the NATO dominance. So uniting the South. Beijing and Moscow should work to unite the countries of global south and promote development of international order in more just reasonable direction. So why global south? Because China is seeing that India is emerging as a leader of the global south. So that is the reason China just want to downplay the role of India and wants to portray it as a leader in the global south. That is the reason they are talking about global south. Okay. The next is national sports policy. Basic policy structure attempt to build net new sporting culture. So whenever you are talking about anything related to sports, you need to mention about the national sport policy. So they can be a very good question in your mains also. So national sports policy 2025 has its credited a dual advantage of solid foundation while incorporating key elements that are intrinsic to the growth of modern sports system in India. So, highlight of national sports policy is that the basic policy structure attempt to mainstream the sport of the country. So, it's try to bring the sports into the mainstream. It try to integrate sports into the society, into education, into our economy, so that India can emerge as a sporting nation. So, if India is contributing 20% of the world population, but what percentage of the medal tally that is being contributed by India? It is not 20%, which is very cause of concern for us. So, making sport a people's movement and growing culture of sporting in country and aligning with the national education policy. The policy aims to promote the sporting culture and make it in align with the national education policy. So last time the national sports policy we have framed is 2001. Okay. So use of sports science technology and innovations to enhance performance or economic aspect of the sports, which include we can have corporate social responsibility funding, building business around the sports. For example, we can tap the funds of the corporates promotion of the sports, and we can use sports as an opportunity to promote the startups also. For example, bait making, for example, you can say shuttlecock making, even say the ball making. So all these things can be promote the startup and manufacturing ecosystem. So these are important aspect of sporting that will address the ambitious of nation that aspiring to host Commonwealth. So we are aspiring to host the Commonwealth in 2030, Olympic in 2036. This will be built self-sustaining economy for this sector, which is essential for growth of the sporting in India. If we are able to host the Commonwealth game and the Olympic games, so that will act as a self-sustaining model. No need to depend on the government, because all our industry will develop. They will provide the funding, just like the, and they will also do the lot of advertisement, and advertisement revenue is more than enough to continue the sports culture. So that is what our objective. So you need to know all these things. You need to know about aspiration. We are aspiring to host the Olympic in 2036. So this policy attempt to address the issue well by aligning itself with the National Education Policy 2022, which emphasize physical education. That means fitness training and sports as an essential part of the school curriculum. And you know that how we are going to identify the talent. So best way to identify talent is to find at the younger age. So at younger age you can find in the school. So National Education Policy thus aim to align the NEP by integrating sports into the school and college system. So this national sports policy integrated with the national education policy, so that while promoting education, we need to pick off potential. We need to find the potential so that we can nurture them for better outcomes. So promoting sports for all and nurturing talent early. One of the key aspect of this alignment will be to give equal weightage to the both sports and academics. So when national sports policy aligned with the education policy, we can combine and provide best best education and best sporting. So other important aspect of the society include social key include we are also planning to social inclusion. So that means the policy basically aims to inclusion of backward downtrodden section of the society. Those who are tribals, those who are women, they need to be participate also. So move towards that help in building Viksit Bharat. Okay. So dear student, I'm just giving you some suggestion how we can make our sports very interesting. For example, in India we can tap corporate social CSR fund. So that can if one corporate can fund one sports, so our sporting can be very top, but at the world class level. Each state they can adopt one sports and sponsor that, just like the Odisha government sponsor the hockey. So same we can make any sports as we are a global leader on that sports. Same thing we can say all the PSUs, they can also support one sport. So by this way we can promote. Okay. So next is Sukla undergo post mission medical evaluation, say the ISRO. So already Subhanshu Sukla ji already last 18 days staying in this space. So once you are staying in this space, so you are in the microgravity condition. Your body is reacting differently once you are coming into the gravity. So once it is also started behaving different way. So there is need for rehabilitation. So that is what currently we are doing. So next is not demonizing Mughal ruler in the NCERT textbook. So recently there is an allegation that the NCERT book, they are portraying Mughal Empire in a negative way. So this is what clarification given by the you can see here the head of the NCERT curriculum, Michael Danino. So next is 97% of untouchability cases pending court, said the report. So if you look into the number of criminal cases registered under the Protection of Civil Right Act. So this Protection of Civil Right Act basically aims to prevent the untouchability. So for offense related to untouchability, seen decline. Okay, with pendency in the court above 97%, all disposed case resulting in acquittal according to Union Government Annual Report. So it is clearly given the what are the objective of this act. The act The act is intended to define various manifestations of untouchability, including social, religious sphere, and prescribe penalty. It mandated an annual review report with input from the state and union territory, covering aspects such as registration, pendency in police court, establishment, special court, and police station, among others. So that this act is not only criminalizing but also imposing restriction for penalty for those who are involving in such act. Okay. So next is a new fellowship that is being launched to bolster the research in the state university. So what is that? To to tap into the existence of retired scientists. So Anusandhan National Research Foundation. So all those who are retired scientists, now we are providing them an opportunity. They can part of the Anusandhan National Research Foundations to conduct high class research. So for each professor will receive an annual fellowship of 30 lakh along with 24 lakh as a research grant for consumable domestic travel and contingent equipment and overhead expenditure of 1 lakh. So this is what being implemented by the SORB. So earlier it is used to be called SORB, Science Engineering Research Board of India. It is a statutory body. Now we have renamed, that is National Anusandhan Research Foundation. National Anusandhan Research Foundation. So we have renamed SORB to National Anusandhan National Research Fund, had earlier administered under the Sub Distinguished Fellowship for retired scientists that offer 20 lakh. So unlike the previous fellowship, new initiative is open to the overseas scientists, including PIO, overseas citizen of India. Additionally, professional from the industry and experienced professor also get that. Though we have launched this program earlier, this program is launched by the SORB Distinguished Fellowship for retired scientists, but the expenses are very less and overhead expenses less. But now we have increased it and we have renamed it, and now the SORB, Science Engineering Research Board, we have renamed it uh, uh, Anusandhan National Research Foundation. Anusandhan Research Foundation. Okay, so that will attract or promote world class research. So government data show fall in women at work in rural and urban areas. So recently data published by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, it is found that there is declining in the labor force participation rate, particularly among the women. So government said that this is because of the seasonal factor, like rising the, you can say, agricultural plantation. So that is the reason, or rising heat wave. This article is all about that. So next is Supreme Court. Supreme Court protect the cartoonist from arrest, but slam his post on PM and RSS. So recently, what we are seeing, people, they are misusing their right that is being given under Article 19 of the Constitutions to demean or to damage the image or reputation of others. So Article, no doubt, Article 19 of the Constitution provide freedom of speech and expression, but at the same time, it also provide reasonable restriction. That means while we are speaking anything, so we have to be very cautious. We have to respectful to the other. So that is what Supreme Court observed. So condemning the social media, the comedian including Sanjay Raina for abusing freedom of speech and expression through insensitive jokes about person with disability. No doubt you have the fun, you have to be very, but at the same time you cannot hurt the sentiment of a disabled person. Right to speech of the comedian should not overpower right to dignity of a person with disability. There 19 articles talking about freedom of speech, but Article 21 talking about right of life, this is the broader term. Right to life also include your dignity. So there is something very disturbing. Article 19 free speech cannot overpower Article 21 right to dignity. So Article 21 should be prevail. So you can note them whenever you are talking about free speech restriction, you can use this article as a justification as said by the Supreme Court. Dekho, sometimes you are very concerned about what to write in the conclusion, what to write in conclusion. Here, this is what you need to write. You can understand a lot of point from the paper. If you are collecting, let's say 5-6 conclusion introduction daily basis, so you'll end off enough conclusion. But what happening? We are not collecting, but we are relying on the external source. So they impose on us, because if you're reading this newspaper daily, that means these are, you are quite acquainted with that. So start making all these things as a note. So that is going to help you a lot. So Supreme Court on Thursday sharply criticized Indore-based cartoonist objectionable, about the Narendra Modi ji and RSS. Okay. So next is India received GE General Electric F404 engine for fighter jet. So we know that General Electric 404 F404 engine is being used in the light combat aircraft Tejas. So recently, there has been severe delay because of lack of timely deliver. So India on Monday received second G404 engine for United States, or for our light combat aircraft LCA Mark 1 program. Okay. So the engine will be fitted on the LCA Mark 1 fighter jet. The delivery had been delayed because of supply chain, and we are not receiving the engine in time. So engine is not time, so that means we are not able to deliver our LCA. So if you look, our Air Force order 83 light combat aircraft and a proposal to procure 97 additional aircraft at an advanced stage following clearance from the Defense Ministry. Okay. So the engine will be integrated in LCA, and it will be delivered the 10 aircraft by this year. So next is confined field trial of GM maize to begin at the Punjab University. So recently, the Genetic Appraisal Committee given go ahead the permissions to start cultivation of the GM maize. So you need to study about Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. It is a statutory body that is being established under the Environmental Protection Act 1986. It is okay, so this provide permission for cultivation of any GM crop in the India. So the field trial of two kind of genetically modified maize are expected to begin in Kharif season at Punjab University. So after Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee, it is a statutory body under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. It is being established under the Environmental Protection Act. The country top regulator for the sector gave no trial after receiving consent from the Punjab government. So this is being developed by Bayer Science Limited. Why I am discussing this? Because already UPSC asked same Dhara mustard hybrid. Dhara mustard hybrid. So 11. So this is being asked already UPSC. So there is high chances that they must ask this, who is developing and GM crop, what are the challenges? So Bayer Crop Science Limited for the conduct of confined field trial of herbicide tolerant transgenic maize and insect resistance transgenic maize at Ludhiana. So what do you mean by confined? That means there is a restricted environment. So here it is very difficult for this gene to or this gene to fly outside that. So to limit the impact or limit the any sort of problem that we are going to face, so we conduct in a restricted field. So it is not easy for this gene to pollinate with the cross pollination and transmit to the our native plants. Okay, this trial will study the weed control efficacy of herbicide tolerance maize hybrid with application of glycophosphate case salt. Okay, but there are coalition for GM free India. So there is a group, or you can say, so civil society organization. So here you can know in polity too, there is a topic about the role of the civil society organization. You can talk about the civil society organization, a platform advocating for self-sustainable agriculture, and I have urged the Punjab government to withdraw the no objection certificate given to the trial, because these people, they are against the cultivation of GM crops. So they have given argue that Punjab government should not given this permission because it is going to damage our crop. So then next they are saying the state government can issue an order prohibiting the uses of glycophosphate, a deadly herbicide. So you need to know about this name. Glycophosphate is a deadly herbicide with large body of scientist literature pointing negative impact on human health and environment. So glycophosphate is already been banned. So how can university experiment with herbicide tolerance maize that have been modified to withstand application of the glycophosphate? So that means already, because during its cultivation they have to apply the glycophosphate and then see how the GM maize is tolerant to that glycophosphate. So that means if something is not legally prohibited, so this is what going to create problem. Application of which is in itself against the legally approved level claim of the glycophosphate in Indian pesticide regulatory game regime. Okay, so that means देखो, we have developed it, but to field trial, so we have to apply the glycophosphate. So glycophosphate is a very severe pesticide having severe implication on the human health. So you need to remember about the glycophosphate. So we'll see how it what are the reaction development in further video. So well, according to, we'll discuss that. So SEO should not compromise on terrorism. This is what said by the Joy Shankar. So if you look into the charter of SEO, why SEO is formed, it is forming against the three evil: terrorism, then next is secessionism. Here it is given terrorism, separatism, and extremism. But when it comes to the terrorism, there is a double standard. Same, the SEO is formed to counter the terrorism. But when Pelgam terror attack, we are trying to condemn, but they are not talking about it. So that means this is what the double standard we are seeing. SEO. This is what happened because the Chinese support to the Pakistan. Okay? So recently we are seeing that the SEO summit is being going on, and the current SEO summit is held in China. So our foreign ministry visited there. So they are our foreign ministry said that there should not be any tolerance to the terrorism. Okay? So you can see here. So S. Jaishankar comment a month after SEO Defense Ministry meeting fails to issue a joint statement following difference over the reference to the terrorism. So when our for Defense Ministry, Rajnath Singh visited. So we have not made any reference to the terrorism because of opposition from other ministers. So PM Modi expected to travel to the Tianjin for summit, which is to be a first visit after the Galwan Valley class. So three evil that SCO found to combat is terrorism, so separatism and extremism. So when its chatter is talking about three evils, so it should be so that urgent and need to act very fast. Okay. So next important article is how vulnerable are the Delhi citizens to the cyber crime. So Delhi resident lost 700 crore in 2024 to cyber crime despite intensity and seriousness of the issue. Structural gaps continue to exist. So this article you can talk about your internal security, how cyber crime are impacting our population. So you can use Delhi lost 700 crore. So in a city, and Delhi city is not that uneducated. People are quite educated. People are quite aware. Just imagine what kind of loss the rural area they are facing. So in a city digitally connected as Delhi, navigating the online world come with a myriad challenges while benefiting digital payments, social media and internet banking are evident. There are parallel increasing incident of cyber crime. No doubt digital world helps us to improve our life, make everything very smooth. But while at the same time it is exposing our peoples towards the cyber crime. For example, banking, digital banking helps us very easy, like we can transact at the comfort of our home. But at the same time, any if someone is send a photo, you just click that, your entire balance will be wiped out from your account. So that is what the threat of cyber crime. So the Information Technology Act, the only office, officer rank of an inspector, you know rank of an inspector or above can investigate cyber crime. Yet most of the cyber police station lack the needed number of officer for the same purpose. So if you look into the, that means we have created the institution that we have created under the law. If someone to investigate the cyber crime, that person should be rank should be more than the inspector, but there is no inspector in the police station. So just you can imagine, this comprehensive study is conducted by Lokniti CSDS shed light on the Delhi cyber landscape through the three critical lens. Public awareness. So if you want to control the cyber crime, you need to create public awareness. The more public are aware, there is high chances of reduction of the cyber crime. The next is personal experience with the cyber crime and efficacy of reporting and redressal system. So they have given all this data, so you can read that, but better I think just you need to note them out. So this is more than enough for your examination if you use this is a data, so that is being very important. Okay. So next important article is the need to protect Indian linguistic secularism. So in India is having large diversity of the language. So in our 8 schedule it is provide preservation of 22 scheduled language. So these are called national language, and while you can see here, there is reason why we need to know. So in order to protect linguistic diversity, 8 schedule of the constitution including 22 language as an Indian unitary federation. So that is union of the state. And article 343 talking about the language should be union should use Hindi to promote Hindi in Devanagari script. So you need to remember that Hindi in Devanagari script, state are free to choose their official language. So that means the official language of union government is Hindi along with English. Okay, so long as state want and state government they are free to choose. And Article 29 talking about any section of citizen they are residing any part of the world, if they have the right to protect, preserve their culture, script, language. Okay. So according to 2011 census, India is having 121 language and 270 mother tongues, and 96.7 population on one of the scheduled language they talk. So census say that 121 language are presented in two part. So one of them are those who are in the eighth schedule and those who are outside the eighth schedule. So why this is very important? So recently on the one hand, our government tried to impose the three language formula, Hindi language by using three language formula. On the other hand, state are opposing and saying that they are the dominant culture, so they are in favor of local language. Just you can see the protest in the Maharashtra and all other part of the India. So India has always accepted the different religion, idea, and lifestyle, food habit mainly because of liberal and tolerant. In a globalizing world, conservative leading to towards religion or language will lead to the fragmentation of society and tear apart the secular fabric. So we need to ensure everything should be protected. So we need to promote the secularism. So so next important article is how global shipping trying to decarbonize. So we know that shipping industry is one of the larger emitter of the carbon dioxide. So the global shipping is on the course of carbon neutral or decarbonizing by 2040 to 50. So and they are mostly use very low sulfur fuel oil, so a diesel, and we are planning to make our shipping industry from current polluting to the green industry. So how we can go? So we need to use some transiting fuel. Transiting fuel can be green ammonia, it can be biodiesel before we are transiting to the hydrogen base. So you can see here, so LPG powered engine with their higher efficiency of some 5% point are likely to be a transition fuel before shipping moves to the green fuel such as green ammonia or green or methanol. So fuel by 2040 and then net zero. So now we are using polluting and diesel. Then we have to be make it green, but we cannot jump directly to the green fuel. So we will use some transiting fuel. The transiting fuel is LPG, LNG, not LPG, LNG. LPG you use in the household. Okay? So how are green fuel produced? So green fuel are produced so by using green hydrogen. How we are producing green hydrogen? So we are using electricity, solar power, then split water. What is the symbol of water? H2O into oxygen and hydrogen. And that hydrogen can capture and use as a fuel for powering our vehicles. Okay? And later on that hydrogen can use this hydrogen H. Hydrogen can mix with the nitrogen to form NH3 green ammonia, and that can be used as a fuel in our shipping industry. Okay, so that is what this article is talking about. So we need to decarbonize so that we can reduce our emission uh, from our the shipping industry. So how far India is doing? So in India we can see about our solar power has been increasing multiple times from in 2014 it was 2.82, now it is even more than 100 gigawatts. This achievement was made through the convergence of sovereign guarantee, takeoff assurance, and strengthening supply chain. Government are leading; they provide a lot of opportunity to the people. So because of that, it is being happen. So the government-backed assurance can fundamentally transform project economy by enabling access to the international capital. So also government is also promoting production link incentive scheme. Because of that, it also promote. So same thing, there is a huge demand for green fuel of our shipping industry. And India is a potential, India can transform that, and we can be a leader of not only the manufacture of the green hydrogen, but also green fuel for our shipping industry so that we can export to everyone. Okay. So next important article is contesting the future forest governance. So the dear student, this is a very good article about forest right act, conservation of forest, welfare of the tribal people. You can write there. So recently Chhattisgarh Forest Department issue a letter designing it designating itself as a nodal agency for implementing community forest resource right under the Forest Right Act. So Chhattisgarh government saying they are the nodal agency for implementing community forest reserve right. But if you look into the Forest Right Act, a transformative provision of Forest Right Act recognize right of the Gram Sabha to manage the customary forest. So that means this right is given, implementing community forest right is given to the Gram Sabha. But now state government they are saying we have the right. So that means government tried to make it centralization, so that it can easy for exploitation of the forest. It seeks to rectify the injustice of colonial forest consolidation, which disposed local community and supplanted their traditional management institution with centralized state control. So to rectify all this exploitation throughout the history, so the right to forest act is being enacted so that we can give the right to the tribal people, so those who are for century protecting our forest. Okay. So not only was the aspiration of the nodal not only this excessive power will utilize to exploit the forest, but also the statutory authority to implement locally developed management plan community forest. देखो what happen if you look into historically, so all this forest department, whenever they manage the forest, so they tends to cut and extract the commercial value of the forest. You can see historically forest under the government control have been managed through the forest department. These plans are rooted in colonial misnomer of scientific forestry planning and harvesting maximize the timber production. So which is very dangerous. So but if you look into the tribals, so maximum number of tribals are residing in an area that is deep forest. So it is not that tribal are residing in the forest area, it is because tribal they are protecting the forest, it is not the other way around. So that we can say tribals they are live in sync with the nature. So recently government is launching Dharti Aba Janjati Gram Utkarsh Abhiyan launched by the central government. So you need to study about this program. So there can be a very good question about Dharti Aba Janjati Gram Utkarsh Yojana. This program is also trying to have parallel things about the community right, recognition of the community right. So this program is also in conflict with the community right that is being this power recognition of the community right that is being given to the Gram Panchayat. Now they are planning to give this right to this implementing authority. So this provision may violate that also. Okay. So next important article is pain remain. So fall in the food prices only one part of the inflation story. So this article is talking about though our food prices is been falling rapidly, but if you it is not about the food. Now people's consumption only 30% of their income they spend on the food, and 70% they are spending on other item. But they are the prices rising very rapidly. So though the data are saying that prices are falling very rapidly, but in reality people are suffering a lot. And second thing it is talking about, if you look into the CPI, the base year we are using 2011. But in that base year, so we cannot compare in this 2025. So the lot of has been changed. So we need to shift this base year to reflect the current reality. Na? So second thing is we need to upgrade the consumption pattern in 2011. So the people our consumption pattern is quite different. People are spending huge amount of money on food item, but nowadays they're declining. So that is the reason we can say though it is showing that lot of improvement, but we need to take a lot of step to improve further. Okay. So next is more than symbolic, the legislative measure to curb unhealthy food intakes are must. So recently government issue a advisory, that is health ministry, that all the eateries in the government department they need to show the oil, sugar and fat content. So that is going to create people about this is wrong food, junk food, and that reduce their consumption. So the move comes 2 months after the CBSE directed all affiliated school to establish sugar board to monitor the consumption of the sugar. So you can see about recently we have seen our obesity has been increasing very rapidly from 15 to 25% in men and 12 to 23% among the women. So why this is happening? Because of excessive consumption of sugar and oil. So visually behavior definitely act as a nudge. You can see about the after seeing the tobacco warning about the cancer, so many people have quit their tobacco consumption. So no doubt it is going to happen. So we need to take more steps. For example, we need to have legislative route that can penalize for violation. So measure to build awareness without essential legislative measure to curb unhealthy food intake will not more than symbolic. No doubt it is symbolic, but still we need to have visual depiction. So that is going to create a lot of awareness. Okay. So USA established and extinguished multilateralism. So recently we have seen after Donald Trump coming into power, so impose sanction on every country and not listening anyone. So that is what create lot of trouble for the India. So you can see the president of USA, Donald Trump, visible part that he's try to uh, use the pressure tactics to have a favorable trade deal. Okay? So currently the power are so skewedly distributed that even the BRICS summit, not a single country, they criticize this policy of Donald Trump unilateral impose of this sanctions. Okay? So on that backdrop, so how India is going to behave? So we know that we are currently, we are going to be third economy in 2027 and overtake USA by 2075. So for that we need to support multilateralism. So rule based order is very favorable to us, because now if there is a unilateralism, so that is going to decide by USA and China. It is the against the interest of India. If India wants to be a superpower, we need to support the rule based international order. So for that it is given few points that India should take. So just read them out, you'll understand. Okay. So next is issue with criminalizing adolescent relationship. So there is an act called POXO, prevention of So it is actually Protection of Children from Sexual Offense Act. So this POXO Act, it is criminalizing all the sexual activity below the age of 18. So it is a very gender neutral law. That means both male and female can be the perpetrator, and male and female can be the victim also. So it's a very gender neutral law. But recently, what happened? We are seeing that those who are below the age of 18, but they have access to the media, all these things. So rapidly, their mind is evolving very fast. So if any sexual relationship between the age of, like, below the age of 18, they are in conflicting with law, it creates a lot of challenges. So that is what this article is talking about. And sometimes, family member, to restrict the sexual behavior, they simply file a complaint. And young couple who are in their romantic relationship and elopement, so this law uses a tool to penalize this love relationship. So this article is talking about we need to change that, and we need to criminalize, or you can say trial under the POXO Act on the case by case basis, because this law suppose aim to prevent the sexual exploitation, sexual harassment, sexual abuse, but it is restricting, the restrictive nature is very dangerous. Here is in this article is talking about, particularly late girl from the West Bengal. So he was in I think in kids, I think below the age of 16, around 16. So during that, having sexual relations with a man, and later on married that. So if now court in a very dilemma, if court try to give one penalty for the man having sex below the age of 18, POXO Act, so that woman is going to suffer further. Already woman is suffering because at the underage having pregnancy and children, so that means it is violation of the child right. Now if penalized, then again that lady is going to suffer. So that means in criminal justice system we have designed, so whichever action we are going to take, but ultimately it is the child that is going to suffer. So that is what this article is talking about. So we need to design our system in a such a way that instead of penalizing the kid, it is going to reward and help, help and support to the kids. Dear student, this is all about the infographics edition or the Hindu newspaper analysis of 16th July. So dear student, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and please share this video with your friend. And if you have any suggestion, please comment in the comment box, because your like, comment, share really motivate me to provide good content. Okay? Dear student, I'll have to end here. Chaliye, bye bye. Have a good day. Take care.